these markers have completely obliterated the Copic line. Like it's not only made it faded, but it's also pulled the ink. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around the world and the internet looking for art supplies to make your job just a little bit easier, or for you to enjoy the craft just this much more. Now today we are going to Five Below, where we have picked up ink markers, and we have done a review of the colored version of these previously, and I'll make sure to put a link in the card and in the description below so you can go check that out. But these are the grayscale markers, and I hadn't seen these in Five Below, so as soon as I did, I was like, man, gotta try these to see if they hold up to the same quality and consistency that the colored version did. And the main thing that is important to remember about these is that they are listed as water-based markers. So I want to see if anything has changed from the colored version to the gray version, and to see if they are indeed still worth it. So come on, let's go check them out. All right, so as you can see, this box, once again, just a chipboard, right, with a plastic cover and the markers. Very easy to look at, very clear to see what they are. You have 10 markers and a little drawing on the front. And we've got cool grays and blue grays. So there are two different types of grays in here, which is absolutely fantastic. And the one thing, as I've mentioned before, it says that it's water-based. The last time we did these and it said it was water-based, I was, my mind was blown, because I'm like, that is absolutely impossible that it can be water-based the way that it was working. So I'm very interested to see just how well it performs again with the grayscale. So we've got a dual tip, fine tip, chisel tip, and yeah, let's check these out, shall we? No need to keep that. Keep that over here. All right, so the actual marker feels real nice. I mean, it feels nice in your hand. It is a cubed shape marker, black casing. It's very sleek, right? Feels real nice. It's not too big, not too small. Got a nice weight to it. Ooh. Man. The tip looks fairly normal. It's not as pointy, right? It doesn't come to a point as much as some of the other ones that I've seen. It seems pretty firm though, and that snap, the connection on these is pretty strong. So, and then just a regular chisel, right? Nothing too interesting. We do have the different indicators. The light gray indicator is for the bullet point, and the black line is for the chisel. Now, let's see if they post. Oh. What, really? They don't post? Oh. Okay, maybe the other side. Let's see. They don't post. Oh, that's sad. With such a strong connection, you'd think they would post. Nope. So that's a bummer. That sucks. Alright, well. Oh, we got green gray too. So 3 different color grays in here. Alright. Cool gray, cool gray, cool gray. So we got 3, 4, and 5. And then that 1, 2, 1. So we got a lot of cool gray. And then a blue gray 1. And a green gray 5. Well, that's a bit odd, right? When you think about it, you got cool gray, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then a blue-gray 1 and a blue-gray 5. That's a very big jump between the two. And then a green-gray 3 and a green-gray 5. That's fine. But I mean, to be honest, I would have been happier if they did like 2, 4, and 6 for the cool grays, and then gave us another one of each one of these, so that we'd have 3. We could have 4 cool grays because they're the standard. So you could go 2, 4, 6, 8. And then if you wanted to be here with 3, you could go 3, 5, 7, and here 1, 3, 5. But alas, they did not ask me, so they didn't do that. All right, so let's test these out. So we're gonna just go straight with the 20% gray. Oh, no, hopeful. All right, so let's do the chisel. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what it says that it's advertised. These are alcohol-based markers. I just smelled one. These are alcohol-based markers. I don't care what they advertise. But I mean, the ink flow on these are great, right? I'm using just a regular piece of Bristol board right now. They flow well. You got to watch out for the very beginning banding right here, right? It'll beat up at the very beginning, right? But the ink flow is pretty darn consistent, right? Almost seems standard on how much ink comes out. But that's the thing. These were really, really good markers coming out of Five Below, and right, ink flow, nice coverage. Right, flows good. The actual bullet tip holds its form, so even though it's not as sharp as some of the other ones, you can get some nice thin lines going. So that's really nice. I mean, that's good. So I guess let's just go ahead. And still, they are, as I said, they are still very much alcohol-based markers. Okay, so we're gonna try and do a 05 to 01. To 2. Three. Wait, did I put in the wrong color? Nope. Nope. 4. Guess we'll just come back through with this one. So the one thing that I've noticed when it comes to these is that when you go over them with another color, so even if you did a cool gray 5 and then you went over with a cool gray 1, that blend, there's no real blend there. But what if we did it backwards? What if we started with the 5? And then we went to the 4. Oh wow. Okay, so they don't like blending very much. Yeah, every time you kind of overlay it, you can tell where it actually overlaid. So, you know, you can be like, all right, well, they are what they are. I mean, they're from Five Below, and I mean, they're fine, right? Like, I think that if you're doing something more like graphic style, it makes it a lot easier. I don't think these are not meant for blending, right? They don't seem to want to blend very well, right? But you could come in with this 0.5 and then come in with a 3. Probably should let that dry, but you could come in with a 3, right? And get some really nice, you know, separation and stuff like that. So because the coverage itself is really good, right? So you can get a nice, right? So you, like I said, you can come in here and get a nice separation, get nice clean lines, right? Especially if you let it dry first so that it won't bleed. But yeah, these are nice. These are nice, right? $5, you can't beat that. Although the blend isn't necessarily too happy, and whatever consistency it's having, because this, like I said, this is Bristol board, and I've done a lot of marker work on Bristol, and this beading thing, this has to do with the composition of what's inside, so the ink itself. So it's kind of beating up a lot. It almost has that quality of a water base. And I know they say they're water based, but they smell like they have alcohol in them. So I don't know. I wonder what the blue gray looks like. That's a nice blue, right? That's a nice blue gray. See, like the bad part is there's no real transition between the two. I mean, but this was a big jump. This is from 1 to 5. So there's a huge transition. And if you look at that, if you try to go over the marker, it really does bleed out. And like, ooh. So, I mean, there's something there where you're just like, with the Bristol, like I said, Bristol board paper, where you should be able to do nice work on it, it beads up, right? You got all these white spots in there. So let's go ahead and try this Copic. Touch. This one is Faber-Castell, and this one is Micro. All right. So we'll try a couple different ones. This is standards. We'll just go take the blue gray, the black cool gray, and the green gray. We'll just see what happens, right? Green gray does not look like green at all. The blue gray looks more like green. That's funny. Yeah, so there's some inconsistencies with these. These are not as strong as the colored ones were. So these markers have completely obliterated the Copic line. Like it's not only made it faded, but it's also pulled the ink. It's doing to a lesser extent to the Staedtler fine liner. The touch liner is also breaking apart. To a lesser degree, the Faber-Castell line is being affected the least, and then the second one would be a Micron. So if you were to buy these markers, you're gonna want to use either a Micron pen or a Faber-Castell Pitt pen, because otherwise it's going to, if you go over it, this marker is going to obliterate your line. But as we've done in many others, right? This is why I believe it's an alcohol base, because it's not tearing up my paper, right? Although this leaves me to believe that it is doing something weird, right? Like the concoction on the inside is a bit weird, but all in all, I mean, if it wasn't for that, it would be not bad. But the flow is good, but as far as the finishes go, Alright, so we just got done reviewing these ink Five Below markers, and you know what? They're not as good as the ones that were colored. And I don't know what it is, if the consistency is different or what the case may be, but for some reason it's really like bubbling up those white bubbles, right? So it's not interacting well with the paper. The nibs are great, the snap's great, the coverage is great. It doesn't post, so that kind of stinks, but I think in the end it's the finish that's the problem, right? Like, you can get some really nice crisp lines if you're trying to do graphic design work, but in the end, the end result doesn't look good. And like I said, that's Bristol board. It's a good thing, and I have done many marker drawings on that particular paper, and it did not interact with it well. Not to mention that it almost obliterated all of the fine liners that we had. So I can't say this one's not worth it. If you want to pick up some interesting ones that went really well, go check out the other video that I did on the ink colored markers, and pick yourself up a copy of those, because they were actually pretty good. But these, I can't say that they're worth it. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Is It Worth It? I hope that you gain some type of information from it that will benefit you in the future. And if there is any product that you would like us to actually review, please go ahead and drop it in the comments below, and I will make sure to add it to the list. Also, if you're new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you are informed every single time that I drop new content. Thank you guys so very much, and I will see you at the next episode.